Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to my Wednesday live news stream, where we've got some news articles for us to have a look at. So off we go. By the way, we've got Josh Temples in the chatter. So Sci-Fi Quest is asking right off the bat, how about Elon's Neuralink? All right, if you want a bottle cap sticking out of your head, go for it. It's a bit scary stuff, isn't it? I think we covered that, didn't we, last week? Or Sunday, or Wednesday, whenever. Recently. And Windgrace is here. I was going to put by early. I guess I missed all the fun. I've only just started, man, for God's sake. And as I said, Josh Temple's here. Never fear. Maddie's here. Harpoon, sharpen at the ready. Using the harpoon more as a cane, though, the last few days. Oh, dear. Which is unfortunate. He's been in the wars, as our Josh Temple, lately. But I'm sure he'll be fine. He'll pull through. He's a tough old bird. Right. What we're going to say, I've forgotten. Right, so some news items to look at. We're live. Right, yes, we're live on YouTube. So let me double check. We're live on YouTube. Yes, we should be live on Rumble. Just let me refresh it. Come on you come. Come on. There we go. And we're live on Twitch. Yes, we are. Right, okay, right. All the news stories we're going to look at, I've got links in the description. And later on, I'll be putting timestamps in and all that stuff. So let's just get on with it, shall we? Let's just get on with it. Right, what's first then? Let me do my stuff. Add to stage. There we go. First up, the big news of the last day. This is from Deadline. Dominic Patton. Go away with that bit. This is the way Gina Carano sues Disney for Mandalorian axing Elon Musk, footing legal bills. Right, go away. When it comes to fired the Mandalorian actress Gina Carano and Elon Musk, revenge against the Walt Disney Company is served piping hot, even if it takes a bit of time and tries to snare Pedro Pascal and Mark Hamill, who are both mental. A lot of Hollywood people are mental when it comes to like social media because they just blurt out stuff, don't they? Because they're all crackpots, and they don't seem to care what they say. But technically, Gina Carano wasn't fired. She was like not renewed, which is, there is a kind of a difference, but not much. But anyway, 3 years after the ex-MMA fighter Carano, by the way, Pedro Pascal said far worse things on Twitter and Instagram and whatever than Gina Carano did. But, the higher-ups, specifically Kathleen Kennedy, apparently this is the rumour at Lucasfilm, didn't like Gina Carano from the get-go for some reason, probably because of her views. But anyway. 3 years after the ex-MMA fighter Carano was axed by the then Bob Chapek-run Disney for comparing the political climate in America to Nazi Germany, all she said, well, they were basically the people in charge let the population do their work for them, i.e. turning the population against each other. That's essentially what she said, which is what happened, in Germany in the 1930s. Carano on Tuesday sued Disney and Star Wars Shingle, Lucasfilm, it's Deadline. They throw in these weird words, don't they, into stuff. For dropping her from the Bounty Hunter series and the X/Tesla owner and SpaceX and loads of other stuff, the Boring Company, is paying for her lawyers. He did a tweet, an X, did Elon Musk, didn't he, saying, anybody who thinks they've been wrongly dismissed, for whatever reason, let me know. And Gina Carano says, I think I qualify. So obviously he's taken her up because she got an email or whatever, a letter from the solicitors appointed by Elon Musk to deal with this. Right. This is what she's written. This is what it says in the lawsuit, whatever you want to call it. The papers filed. A short time ago, in a galaxy not so far away, is that classed as a drinking game? Yeah, we're going to call it. Defendants, Disney, made it clear that only one orthodoxy in thought, speech, or action was acceptable in their empire, and that those, lots of Oxford commas, and that those who dared to question or failed to fully comply would not be tolerated, reads the complaint, seeking a jury trial, filed this morning in federal court, says. And so it was with Carano. The rule of law still reigns over the defendant's empire, Disney, and Carano has returned to demand that they be held accountable for their bullying, discriminatory and retaliatory actions that inflicted not only substantial emotional harm, but millions of dollars in lost income, adds the suit, which alleges wrongful discharge and sex discrimination. On February 21st, 2021, not long after the second season, are we still... Yes, we're still in the... Are we? Oh, no, we're not. On February 21st, 2021, not long after the second season of The Mandalorian, co-starring Carano, had concluded on Disney Plus with the triumphant return of Luke Skywalker, Lucasfilm put out a scathing statement on its business with the actress. Quote, Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. And she hadn't done anything of the sort. She just voiced an opinion, and she hadn't denigrated anybody. She just said, but it's sad when governments have basically turned the population against each other. That's essentially what she said. With the suit, Carano and her lawyers are hoping to call out Disney and Lucasfilm for reneging on the deal and sacrificing free speech. In addition to terminating her, defendants, Disney, refused to hire her for roles already promised, including but not limited to Season 3 of The Mandalorian, the new series Rangers of the New Republic, and planned future Star Wars full-length feature films, which have recently been announced, all because of her political beliefs and in disparate treatment from her male co-workers, the complaint asserts. Pedro Pascal, for instance. Read Gina Carano's lawsuit against Disney, Lucasfilm and Huckleberry Industries over her The Mandalorian firing here. So there you can follow the link there. What does it take? It takes you to a PDF. The openly conservative Carano, which is, you're allowed to be whatever you want to be, aren't you, politically? The openly conservative Carano is also seeking to paint the now Bob Iger-run Disney. It was always Bob Iger-run. Even when Chapek were in charge, he was still there in the background with his, like the Iron Maiden album cover, Number of the Beast, where the devil's there. It's Eddie the Head, innit, that's puppeting the devil, so to say. That's what Bob Iger were doing, while Chapek were in charge. Anywho, I've said it again, haven't I? Defendants also discriminated against Carano by treating her differently from her male co-stars, who also made public political statements on social media, such as Pedro Pascal, essentially calling everybody who votes for the Republican Party, Yahtzees, essentially. Comparing them to those. The suit says, her male co-stars were not disciplined, let alone terminated in a way to destroy their careers, even though some would find their statements abhorrent. To that point, is it abhorrent or abhorrent? Whatever. To that point, the suit spotlights posts and statements by Mandalorian lead Pedro Pascal and Luke Skywalker himself, and Mandalorian Season 2 finale guest Mark Hamill, regarding Donald Trump and the former president's policies being like those of Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. In language similar to the references to Pascal, Carano's suit says defendants did not comment on, let alone publicly condemn Hamill's social media comments. Seeking a slew of damages and a court order to get back her Mandalorian role of Rebel Ranger Cara Dune, Carano took to social media today to amplify her long-delayed legal move, claiming her words were consistently twisted to demonise and dehumanize me as an alt-right-wing extremist. The ex-UTA represented actress, the agency, dropped her not long after Disney Lucasfilm did in February 2021. Also revealed that Musk is playing for her, as in paying for the legal fees, I imagine. And there's the tweet. There she says, today's an important day. It's quite a long tweet, but there it is, follow it. Disney has not replied to Deadline's request for comment on Carano's Musk-backed suit. If and when the Mouse House does, this post will be updated. Musk's team was quick to confirm its financial support of Carano and stick the shiv in Disney's side. As a sign of, quote, as a sign of ex-corps, or ex-cause, whatever, ex-corps, commitment to free speech, we're proud to provide financial support for Gina Carano's lawsuit, empowering her to seek vindication of her free speech rights on X and the ability to work without bullying, harassment or discrimination, read a statement released today by the Musk-owned social media platform's head of business operations, Joe Benarok. Oh, pardon me. Of course, coming off a big defeat in federal court in Florida last week in its now appealed free speech lawsuit against Governor Ron DeSantis, Disney may not recognise the irony at play here. They were defeated because basically Disney were idiots, weren't they? Women are, as Sci-Fi Quest says, women are allowed to have their own points of view that go against the message, essentially. Yeah. Essentially. I mean, the force is female unless you've got a different view to Kathleen Kennedy and her gang, essentially. Yeah, Disney had that big defeat, didn't it, over the... they call it the Don't Say Gay bill, but it's the parental rights bill, isn't it? It's basically the bill that means that parents have a say in what their little kids are taught at school. How is that a bad thing? But Disney thought it was. Anyway. It may also wonder if Musk's deep pockets for Carano has something to do with Disney joining other corporations to pause its advertising on X in November after the Tesla kingpin retweeted a distinctly anti-Semitic post. Well, I don't know, because I didn't see what it was, but he did. This is where he did go and say, that wasn't his intention. It was, misconstrued. Anyway, with Iger sitting nearby, apparently, I don't know if anybody's confirmed that, Musk lashed out at Disney and others for the ad boycott at a November 29th, 2023 high-profile media conference. Somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, Musk responded after being a question. What? After being asked a question from moderator Andrew Ross Sorkin on the situation. Blackmail me with money. Go F yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. And then he went, hi, Bob. Hey, Bob, if you're here in the audience, Musk made a point of adding to Iger, who was there, sorry, that's how I feel. Taking a swing at Chapek's failed leadership as Disney CEO and accusation of the actress being opposed to trans rights and pronouns. She wasn't against pronouns, she was against people forcing others to put their pronouns in their, the Twitter ID, Twitter bios and stuff like that, and Instagram bios and all that. With the famous beep, bop, boop, which you shouldn't be forced to do it. It's personal preference, isn't it? But there's bullies. The meek... they said the meek have inherited the earth, and they're making a right hash of it, aren't they, essentially? They're buggering it up. Didn't say that in the Bible, did it? Anyway. He said, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And then it didn't say the next part, but they're going to knacker it up. Anyway. Trans rights and pronouns, the Black Lives Matter movement, COVID protocols and more, Carano's Share Jaffe attorneys have framed their client's controversy and eventually pink slipping as the consequence of her refusal to be bullied. Is that an American thing for being fired, pink slipping? I don't know. In the UK, you're handed your P45. Or they used to be. I don't know if they still do. Carano claims that even before the Mandalorian firing, she was under constant pressure from Disney to continue with her re-education programme and make a public apology, which never happened, and sit with two GLAD representatives. Don't ask me that, I can't remember what that stands for. It's a gay thing, innit? Organisation. Digging a hole for myself. Among other missives, Carano further alleges that in late 2020, Disney Lucasfilm communicated to Carano's publicist that they were going to require Carano to participate in a Zoom call with Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy and 45 employees who identify as part of the LGBTQ+ and all the others community, going so far as to say that, I think it's got numbers in now, hasn't it? I'm sure it has. Going so far as to say that her willingness to endure such harassment and humiliation was a litmus test for her. No, I haven't done yet. I thought that was it. Yes, re-education sounds pleasant. It sounds like something from 1984, doesn't it? It does. And Windgrace would rather be handed a P90. That sounds ominous, doesn't it? I've got one over there. I've got one. I dare show it because I might get into trouble. It's not a real one. It's a what they call it? A bit like a BB gun. What they call airsoft one. That I used to take to conventions until they started cracking down. Anyway, that virtual meeting never occurred, though Carano's filing says she did offer to take some of those employees out to dinner, an offer that was rebuffed. While Carano objects to being portrayed as an extremist, it should be noted that one of her first moves after being fired by Disney in 2021 was to jump into Terror on the Prairie. Carano is producing the feature. Do you mean is producing? So is this? They've copy-pasted this, haven't they, from an earlier article? And it's not a bad film, by the way, I've seen it. She produced the feature with Ben Shapiro and film director Jeremy Boring's conservative media company, The Daily Wire. In November 2021, Carano went online to announce she has joined the first family biopic, My Son Hunter, from director Robert Darby. Oh, is it that Robert Darby? The actor. Distributed by Breitbart News, the Biden family flick with co-star Lawrence Fox was released in September 2022. I've not seen that one. But anyway, Sci-Fi Quest says, I can imagine me strapped to a chair with eyelids taped open watching clips of pro-messaging content. That's what it'd be like. Yeah. But it'd be like that bit in Clockwork Orange, wouldn't it, where he's got his eyes open. Malcolm McDowell. Anyway, last week, Carano, or the bit in... What Conspiracy Theory, that one with Mel Gibson. They taped his eyes open, didn't they? That with Patrick Stewart in as a baddie. Taped his eyes open, didn't they? Last week, Carano took to Instagram soon after the death of Carl Weathers was made public, revealing the Rocky legend and her Mandalorian co-star director called her up after Disney fired her to tell her he didn't want me to give up. He was letting me know that he wasn't throwing me away. He was trying to keep my hope alive in what seemed like a quite hopeless scenario. He showed me he cared. That is who he was. And other members of... I've said before, didn't I? I think I said another time that other members of the Mandalorian cast have, stuck up for Gina Carano, saying she's a lovely person. Giancarlo Esposito said, she was his favourite person he worked with on The Mandalorian, and Bill Burr stuck up for her. None of them stuck up for her at the time of the firing, but afterwards they've said, she's a lovely person and all that, which apparently she is. And she did nothing wrong, in my opinion, and I hope this lawsuit gets her all the goodies and everything, and Disney are forced to prostrate themselves before her. But I suspect it might not get very far. But you never know, because if Elon Musk's behind it, he's got like bottomless pockets, hasn't he, essentially, compared to the rest of us. So, if a judge just throws it out, maybe he'll just say, well, just file it again. They'll just keep pushing it, won't they? They'll end up with a judge that does let it go to trial, but we'll see. But she says, apparently Gina Carano said she's not going to settle. People say, no, she might just settle for, a big check from Disney. But she said she's not going to settle. Anyway, I've been to Settle. It's a town in North Yorkshire. Don't forget, it was in Chuck too. I've never seen Chuck, never seen it. But Sci-Fi Quest loved it. She does have a strong case. Yes, she does. Yes, she does. I'm not sure about the wording in the what do they call it, in the complaint. Like I say, it's very dramatic, isn't it? A short time ago in a galaxy not so far away. It's all very dramatic. Doesn't sound very legalese, does it? Usually very dry, innit? But they've gone all dramatic for this. But anyway, I hope she does well, and I hope it works. And others are coming forward, aren't they? Even Roseanne Barr, apparently, because after this has come to light, Elon Musk went on X again and said, if anybody else thinks they've been badly mistreated or fired without, cause and all that, or wrongly dismissed, let me know. And Roseanne Barr did a hello, didn't she? Because she got fired for opening her mouth and saying the wrong thing. People should be allowed to say what they want without risk of being fired, unless it's, something really, really bad, But anyway. Right, so that's the big news. That's the big news of the last couple of days. But I suspect it's not going to be... I think it'll blow over. I think Disney will just let it blow over. And hopefully they might, do things in the background. I'm not a legal expert or anything. Or I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist. Get my tinfoil hat on. They might find a judge that is kind of on Disney's side. And say, make this go away. And he'll dismiss it. He'll say, there's no cause for this, her dismissal was within the rights of her contract and all that. They'll probably say something along those lines. They can fire you whenever they want to for whatever reason. It's up to them. But they might say, well, technically, she wasn't fired. Her contract wasn't renewed, and they're well within their rights to do something like that. Probably. I bet that something like that will happen. Anyway, Sci-Fi Quest says Von Strahovski may have been part of Why I Love Chuck, though. I've no idea because I've never seen it. I don't even know who she is. I've never heard of her. I'm guessing she's super attractive. Disney has those morality clauses so they can basically decide anything they want is moral. Essentially, yeah, essentially. Yep, so that's why I don't think this will really amount to much. But I hope it does, and I hope she's successful, and I hope Disney gets a bloody nose for it. Anyway... Right, let's move on. Because everybody's talked about this. Go watch other videos. People have talked about it with much more knowledge and stuff. I was just watching Midnight's Edge in the morning. They've just done a live stream about it, and they actually had lawyers and stuff on their show. Tom got a bit cross at one point, which he's known to do at times. Is very... He's very emotional, is Tom. Bless him. But he does get angry quite easily. But that were interesting. And Nerdrotic and all those others, Geeks and Gamers, they're all talking about it. And many, many more. Wingrace says she'll win, they'll bring her back, then they'll immediately cancel the show for poor ratings. That's a very glasses half empty viewpoint, Wingrace. Did you see Tomorrow War? Oh, Ivan Strahovski is his daughter in the future. Oh, right. Yes, I did see that. Oh, so that's her. Yes, you were quite tasty, weren't you? Anyway. Right. Let's move on. Let's move on to other news. What other news have we got? I can't actually remember now. I've curated it. Keep saying I'm trying to remember this word about news items I've gathered. I couldn't remember this word. Curated. That was the word I was looking for. Right, next up. Oh, bloody hell, ad blockers. Just bear with me. Just let me pause on this site and then refresh. Thank you, go away. This one's from comicbook.com. Cameron Bonomolo. Cool name. Oh, hang on. I didn't full screen it. Don't be seeing all my tabs, do you? Right, Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu. They've got to change that name. Movie gets filming start date. The Mandalorian movie is reportedly set to begin production this summer. I did glance down and see where they got this information from, and it's not entirely 100% locked in, as we know from this place, because we've covered it before. Right. This is the way. The Mandalorian movie has a filming start date following Disney and Lucasfilm's official announcement that The Mandalorian and Grogu feature, directed by series creator Jon Favreau, would begin production this year. A new listing on the Film and Television Industry Alliance's production tracking service reveals that the Mando movie, the first Star Wars movie since 2019's The Rise of Skywalker, will start shooting in Los Angeles. That was a sentence and a half, wasn't it? That's all one sentence. See, they used all the commas up and they had to start using dashes. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Film and Television Industry Alliance production tracking service. We've seen this before. Remember a few weeks ago when we were talking about the Section 31 was supposed to start filming in whatever, whenever it was supposed to start filming, and it wasn't accurate. This is that same site. So they're saying it's going to start shooting June 17th, so, but as we know, it's not set in stone, is it? I think they do it just to pencil in a date, just so they can, let people know that's what they're aiming for. But it's not, it's not the Ten Commandments. Sci-Fi Quest says, can't be 100% sure, but did Gina not have a contract for Rangers of the New Republic? A bit late with this, though. I've no idea. I've no idea. I know she wasn't, a contract for the Mandalorian wasn't renewed, but I don't know about Rangers of the New Republic. I don't know. It was announced, wasn't it? Because remember, there was that thing, wasn't there, with Kathleen Kennedy in front of all the titles, Children of Blood and Bone and all that never happened, and the Lando series and all that, and Rangers of the New Republic were up there, but I don't know if anything had happened with it. Casting-wise. You like to curate. I like to cobble together. Lol. I presume that's a lol. Oh, dear. Sorry, it was Republic Rangers, I believe. No, Rangers of the New Republic. Yes, that's what it was. Yes, Rangers of the New Republic. That's what it was called. Not Republic Rangers. Sounds like a football team, doesn't it? Republic Rangers 3. Hamilton Academicals 0. Do they still do that? Have that posh fella reading the football scores on Final Score or whatever. It used to be on Grandstand, at the end of Grandstand, didn't it, when I was a kid? Anyway. Right, where were we? The first 3 seasons of the hit Disney Plus series all filmed primarily in the LA area, including on sound stages at Manhattan Beach Studios with ILM's stagecraft technology and the volume. If Disney owes people for everything they ever cancel, they'll really lose all their money. Yeah. Yep. I bet in contracts, even if people do sign a contract, I bet the contract says, you are contracted for this thing, and then we will start filming at a certain date. But if for any reason there is a delay or we can't start filming, or it is cancelled for whatever reason, you will not receive any monetary recompense. There'll be something like that, won't there? They'll be covered. They'll cover themselves. Manchester United 4, Republic Rangers 0. Why would you say it? Why would you bring Manchester United into the conversation? Sci-Fi Quest. Maybe Leeds United. Leeds United 4, Republic Rangers 0. And then, of course, when we had snow, usually in the winter, back in the day before they had underfloor heating and stuff, underground heating, they used to have the for the pools. Do they still do the pools as well? They used to do panel results, score draw, and all that, didn't they? Anyway, that's by the way. Right, where were we? Plot details remain under wraps, but The Mandalorian Season 3 ended with the helmeted bounty hunter Din Djarin. Yes, he kept his helmet on for the whole of Season 3. I don't think Pedro Pascal was actually ever on set. He was just a voice in a booth. And his Mandalorian apprentice Grogu, colloquially referred to as Baby Yoda, settling on the planet Navarro in the outer rim of the galaxy, laying low to cabin on the outskirts of High Magistrate Grief Karga's, the late Carl Weathers, territory. Din offered to work with Adelphi Ranger Captain Carson Teaver, Paul Sun-Hyung Lee, as an independent contractor and help the fledgling New Republic hunt down Imperial remnants in the shadows of the Empire. And if all roads lead to the Star Wars sequel trilogy, I mean, no, he obviously didn't do a very good job, did he? Anyway. Favreau also serves as executive producer on The Mandalorian and Grogu. They've still got to change that bloody name, haven't they? With Lucasfilm Chief Content Officer Dave Filoni and Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy. Boo. The release date is to be announced, but Disney has reserved 2 theatrical dates for its Star Wars feature development slate that include the upcoming untitled Rey Skywalker movie, May 22nd, 2026, and December 18th, 2026. I have loved telling stories set in the rich world that George Lucas created, Favreau said, when announcing the Mandalorian movie in January. Oh dear. The prospect, I'm going to have to go to like a course, a news reading course. How do they do it? I don't know. The prospect of bringing the Mandalorian and his apprentice Grogu to the big screen is extremely exciting. What's these adverts on Temu? What they sell? Oh, a word spelling game. Some form of armour. Is that Mandalorian armour, perchance? I don't know. A computer, Sci-Fi Quest, you need a new one. Get one off Temu. A tardigrade. How does it know we do these things? I don't know. How does it know? A boombox of some sort. An ancient, some sort of magical box for putting things in. And I don't know. Is that rude? I don't know. They're like rubber underpants or something, don't they? Crotchless rubber underpants. I'm not buying them, honest. Favreau, executive producer, wasn't he supposed to be in charge? I think executive producer can mean anything these days, can't it? It's just a title they just dish out, innit? I don't know what his original title was. I don't know. Right, despite Mando and Grogu's jump to the big screen, The Mandalorian Season 4 is reportedly in the works at Disney+. Favreau first hinted at the potential of a Mandalorian feature film in 2020, telling Variety, "The line is blurring now. Things that you would have only seen in the movie theatre you're seeing on streaming." Yeah, don't we know? And they're costing as much as well. And I think it could go the other way as well. Following Din's crossover into the Book of Boba Fett and intersections with other series set during the post-Return of the Jedi era, Favreau said he was in no rush to bring The Mandalorian to theatres, but added, "We're definitely open to it and excited to see where the story leads us and have that flexibility because there's no rule book now." I think the rule book's been torn up and thrown out, hasn't it, with all the disasters that they've been having. Anyway, Temu, where anything you buy breaks first time you touch it. I wouldn't know. Executive producer, I dare buy anything from there. Executive producer probably means they paid the most. I don't know. Like I said, they throw producer titles around willy-nilly sometimes, don't they? Anyway. I don't know which I want less, a Mando movie or a Picard movie at this point. Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know either. I'm not particularly interested in a Picard movie, to be honest. A Next Generation movie, I'd be fine with if all the gang's there. But I don't want it to be about Picard being a doddery old robot bugger. But anyway. They burnt the rule book along with the novels that don't exist. Yes, because there isn't. There's no books for them to look back to take stories from. according to Kathleen Kennedy. Is that it? Yes, that's it. Right, so there we go. So June 17th, it's penciled in. As I said, this I'll show you the listing. Is it going to show us it? I'll have to get out of it, won't I? And get out of full screen. Where are we? Is that it? There we go. There we go. Spladosh. There we go. The Mandalorian and Grogu. This is from the Film and Television Industry Alliance, productionlist.com. That's what I was trying to think of. Make this bigger so you can see it. The Mandalorian and Grogu feature film shoot date June 17th, 2024, Los Angeles, California, United States, Western Hemisphere, planet Earth, Sagittarius Arms, Milky Way galaxy, solar system first, and all that, you know. The Mandalorian, a lone bounty hunter, blah, blah, blah. Production contacts, I suppose you've got to be a member, you know, sign up to this, for all this to appear. Jon Favreau, director. Colin Wilson, line producer. Dave Filoni, producer. Karen Gilchrist, producer. Kathleen Kennedy, swearing. Oh, dear. So there we go, that's all it says. But, as we know, let's have a look, see what it says about Star Trek. See, it's remembering what I've typed in before. Star Trek, see what it finds. Is it working? Did I click it? Oh, no. Oh, I'll tell you. Strange New World Season 3, Station 30. It still says Station 31, look. 5 months ago. There you go. October 2023 to December 2023. And they've only just started, haven't they, on it now. So, as I said, it's not set in stone what's in this Star Trek Station 31. Or maybe it's a different series altogether that they're going to surprise us with. You never know. Sci-Fi Quest says, all the Next Generation cast returned for Star Trek Final Contact. That'd be good, wouldn't it? That'd be a good title. Final Contact. What would it be about? Don't know. The dissolution of the Federation or whatever. I forgot what I want. I've pressed the wrong button and I'm on the wrong screen. There we go. Right. Let's move on. I want to know. I want you to write this Sci-Fi Quest. Star Trek Final Contact. Maybe they find the last intelligent race in the galaxy. All the others have been contacted, and they find the final one. And it's on Earth, and it's the cats, the furlings. I know that's Stargate. Bet it's Borg again. Sigh. Probably. Right. Jurassic World next. This is from the Hollywood Reporter, Boris Kitt and Ryan Gajewski. If I'm pronouncing that properly. It'd help if I added it, wouldn't it? There we go. Right, David Leitch in talks to direct new Jurassic World movie. I've got like a kind of a relative called David Leitch. Not kind of. Ex-uncle-in-law. My wife's uncle. My wife's great uncle. It's called David Leitch. Anyway. Universal is moving as fast as a velociraptor on this, announcing a summer 2025 release date. I presume that's David Leitch. Filmmaker David Leitch is in talks to direct the next instalment in the Jurassic World franchise, the Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. Universal Pictures announced Monday that it plans to release the dinosaur-focused film, I would hope it's dinosaur-focused, on July 2nd, 2025. The Hollywood Reporter broke the news last month that David Cope, how do you pronounce that? Is it Cope? David Cope or Cope? I don't know. I say Cope. Who penned Steven Spielberg's original 1993 blockbuster Jurassic Park and its 1997 sequel Jurassic Park The Lost World, is writing the follow-up to 2022's Jurassic World Dominion. Spielberg is set to executive produce, i.e., we'll pay you loads of money, we'll give you an executive producer credit, you know, for your name value, but you don't have to do anything. As long as you say, when you show up at the premiere and stuff and say, this is a great film. That's all you need to do. Spielberg is set to executive produce the new movie through his company Amblin Entertainment. Fellow Jurassic Park vets Frank Marshall and Patrick Crowley, whatever, Mr. Crowley, D, will also serve as producers alongside Leitch and Kelly McCormick of 87 North. I presume that's a production company. Universal Executive VP Production Development Sarah Scott and Creative Executive of Production Development Jacqueline Garrell will oversee the film on the studio side. Cool. Sources previously told The Hollywood Reporter that the forthcoming film is set to launch a new Jurassic era, seemingly suggesting that the characters played by Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard that originated in Colin Trevorrow's 2015 Jurassic World would not be involved. What they need to do is find time travel. They need to. You remember that series Prehistoric Park? I think it was on ITV. It were a bit like Walking with Dinosaurs, but it had that naturalist fella, whose name I've forgotten. But he had a time machine, and he went back in time and brought dinosaurs forward in time to make a Jurassic Park sort of thing. But they called it Prehistoric Park. They should do that. They should. The next one, they've developed a time machine, so all the dinosaurs, they've got to take them back in time and get them out of the way. Taken back to the Jurassic era or wherever they're supposed to be from. Even though they're technically not real dinosaurs, as they've said in the films, they are genetically produced, genetically created theme park monsters. Anyway. Sci-Fi Quest says, I gladly write Star Trek Final Contact. Then Paramount will say no, so I'll get AI to rewrite the script into Rebel Trek. Rebel Trek. Oh dear. The Rise of Locutus. Where were we? That film, Jurassic World. That film was followed by J.A. Bayona's Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom in 2015. The characters played by Sam Neill, Laura Dern and Jeff Goldblum in the original Jurassic Park saga are also unlikely to return in the fourth Jurassic World movie. So it won't do well then. It depends who they get in, doesn't it? But people like to see the old favourites, don't they? The three performers co-starred with Pratt and Howard in Dominion. Leitch, who established himself as one of the town's big action filmmakers with movies such as Bullet Train, great film, Deadpool 2, which was fine, and Atomic Blonde, great film, has become a go-to for Universal. He directed Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw for the studio, which I've never seen. No, the first two. I've seen the first two Fast and Furious movies. I've not seen the others. The negotiations occur as Universal prepares to unveil The Fall Guy, which stars recent Oscar nominees Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt in theatres May the 3rd. Because he's the thingy stuntman who made Redford such a star. I never used to watch The Fall Guy because it wasn't space or aliens or all like that. Even though it had the $6 million man in it, but never mind. Just so happens I'm trying to write a sci-fi novel. Just can't get past page 1 at the moment, which I hear can be the hardest part. Just rattle something off like I do. But start big. Right, in big, massive block capitals. Boom! Anyway. Right, the Dino film series launched in 1993 with Spielberg's Jurassic Park, adapting Michael Crichton's, the late Michael Crichton's, best-selling 1990 novel of the same name. The franchise that hails from Universal and Amblin comprises 6 features that have together surpassed $6 billion worldwide. There we go. I'm sure he'll do a really good film, because, as I said, I've liked all his other films, what I've seen of them. Bullet Train and Atomic Blonde, both great films. Deadpool 2 were fine, not as good as the first one, but it were okay. But there we go, yeah, I bet it'll be good. But it depends who they got starring in it, doesn't it? If none of the original, old casts of the other ones are going to appear, they've got to at least get one of them in, haven't they? You know, so they can get the name on the poster and stuff. Because you know it attracts punters, puts bums in seats, doesn't it? That's what people like. Unless they get a huge star, Tom Cruise or something. You never know. But he's signed his deal with Warner Brothers, hasn't he? His non-exclusive deal. Signed a deal with Warner Brothers, but he doesn't have to make any films for Warner Brothers if he doesn't want to. I wonder if there's some sort of cosmic clause as well in that. Sorry, that's a bad news reference nobody else gets, but anyway. Just bring back the talking raptor that says Alan. Yes, actually, I like Jurassic Park 3. I think it's good. People go on about that. Oh, they didn't even have the talking raptor in it. It was a dream, for fuck's sake. Sorry, I'm getting angry. Doing a Tom. Anyway, right. Let's move on. Yes, I'm looking forward to that. I like all the Jurassic Park films. I do. I even like I like the Jurassic World ones as well. I even like Fallen Kingdom. It was fine. And Dominion were okay. I think Dominion were the least of them. But they were enjoyable guff. I enjoyed them. I thought they were all right. People get so bloody worked up, don't they? Right, what's next? Star Trek now. We're going to move about a bit. We've got a bit of Star Trek, a bit of Doctor Who, a bit more Star Trek, and then some other stuff towards the end. Right. This is from Screen Rant. John Orquiola. Nicolas Cage reveals why he leans towards Star Trek over Star Wars, because he's a man of impeccable taste. And there he is. Academy Award winner Nicolas Cage explains why he prefers Star Trek to Star Wars. Cage is part of the generation that grew up watching Star Trek, the original series, in syndication in the 1970s. And on Sci-Fi Quest is on about his story. It's a kind of a mashup of original Battlestar Galactica and Space Above and Beyond. Among others, you just have to figure out my style. Just have to figure out my style. Yes, just get on with it. Just see what comes out. Pardon me. Don't overthink it too early. I've seen other authors have said that. Don't overthink it too early. Just write it, and you can always go back to it and change stuff, later. But just get something done. That's what I've heard other authors say. Not me. I say I've written a couple of books, but they're crap. But still buy them. They're available on Amazon Kindle and paperback. Links are in the description. This is another recycled article from like a year ago. Probably. We'll see. Actually, I don't think it is, because they're on about Screen Rant spoke to him on the Saturn Awards, which have just happened, haven't they? So maybe it's that, and then another bit that's pasted in from a year ago. Nothing to do with the fact that they want Cage in Star Trek 4. Well, we might be getting to that. Anyway, right, where were we? By 1977, the blockbuster success of Star Wars led Paramount Studios to turn its planned sequel series, Star Trek Phase 2, with the Vulcan Zon, who was got rid of, unfortunately. He looked crap anyway. Into a full-blown movie adventure, Star Trek The Motion Picture. Star Trek and Star Wars have both become pop culture cornerstones, with multiple movies and TV series spanning generations of stories and iconic characters. Screen Rant spoke to Nicolas Cage at the 51st Annual Saturn Awards red carpet, where he won... hang on. No, never mind. Where he won the Best Supporting Film Actor trophy for his role as Dracula in Renfield. One of my top 5 of 2023. A year ago, Cage said he'd rather be in Star Trek than Star Wars, and his remarks sparked speculation about whether Cage would appear in the next Star Trek movie. When asked about his preference for Star Trek over Star Wars, the Oscar winner had this to say: "I created a divide between Star Wars and Star Trek that didn't really exist. There are people that are devout followers of both. It's a spiritual experience for some, it seems. I grew up watching Trek, and I found a lot of wisdom in those early television shows. That's why I lean towards that. At the Saturn Awards, Nicolas Cage told Screen Rant that he had a couple of phone calls, presumably with J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot production company, after news broke that he was a Star Trek fan, but he hasn't seen the script for a Star Trek movie. Wingres says, maybe he said it again. That said, they wanted him to clarify his comment. I did 2 videos on who he could be playing a year ago. So go to Windgrace's channel, type in Windgrace Project in the YouTube search bar, and they'll be in there somewhere. And go and subscribe to him as well, and also subscribe to Sci-Fi Quest. Halo Season 2 starts tomorrow. Looking forward to some new weekly content for my channel. Yay. I've not even seen Season 1, apart from the first episode, which I didn't mind. I just never got round to watching the rest of it. Right. Star Trek 4 has been mired in development hell at Paramount for years, although recent news that a Star Trek origin movie is being developed by director Toby Haynes also noted that Star Trek 4 is still in the works as the final chapter of the USS Enterprise crew led by Chris Pine. An origin movie is the final chapter of the Enterprise. What? That doesn't make sense, does it? Nicolas Cage definitely seems willing to consider taking a role in Star Trek 4 if it was a part that excited him, and if he could be on the Starship Enterprise. Cage as the next Star Trek movie villain is an enticing prospect, as is the idea of Nick teaming up with Captain Kirk, Chris Pine, Mr. Spock, Zachary Quinto, and the Enterprise crew, and the rest. Many acclaimed actors have taken on roles in Star Trek, but as an Academy Award winner and the star of such films as Leaving Las Vegas, Face Off, Con Air, and The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, Nicolas Cage would be a true Star Trek casting coup. And then that's where you can see him. There we go. Anyway, leading on from this, we've got another story connected. Maybe he hasn't seen a script because they haven't written one yet. Yes, I haven't seen a Halo either. Maybe I'll have a catch up. Yeah, I say I'd seen first episode and I didn't mind it, to be honest. I think I saw first episode, but then I saw that other people had seen more of it and said it wasn't good. So I think I just didn't bother then. Sci-Fi Quest is an okay show, but not a good adaptation of the game. They rarely are they? Right. Following on from the Nicolas Cage article, this one's, although the website looks identical, it's actually CBR and some chap called Jeremy Dick. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I'm a child. The story, I would kill to do it. Picard's showrunner really wants Nicolas Cage in Star Trek 4. Picard's showrunner, Terry Matalas, has some ideas on how to bring in Nicolas Cage for Star Trek 4. What's going on here? What's these ships here? What's this? It's a nicer design than the Titan A, in my opinion, whatever ship that is. Weird. They're like the Star Trek ships you used to see on like Jeff Love album covers. If you know who he is. Anyway, Star Trek Picard Season 3 showrunner Terry Matalas is on board with bringing Nicolas Cage into the franchise, even pitching some ideas on how to make it happen. So make that big. There we go. Would he be Nicolas Cage or Nicolas Menagerie? Sorry. I'm genuinely laughing there. Those are Star Trek Online ships. Are they? Oh, no. I've played Star Trek Online, but I've not got very far into it. I should have another go at it. With the USS Mercury Rapids. How original. I love the Titan A as just another random ship in the fleet. Yeah, it's fine. I don't like the weather deflector dishes. I don't like it looks too square and awkward. But the rest of it looks fine. But that looks nicer. That looks nicer, does that? It does. Anyway. And I don't like the Titan A being renamed the Enterprise G. Sorry. Right. Recently, Nicolas Cage expressed his desire to finally join the Star Trek franchise, and this hasn't gone unnoticed by Terry Matalas. Speaking with Screen Rant on the red carpet at the Saturn Awards, Matalas was asked about how likely it is that Cage will actually get a role in Star Trek 4. While Matalas can't say for certain, he noted that he'd kill to be able to bring Cage into Star Trek. On Menagerie. Envisioning the iconic actor playing a new villain, he also suggested that it would be a must for Cage to be on the bridge of a starship. Quote, I have no idea, but I know that I would kill to do it, Matalas said. I mean, what a great anything. I kind of want to make him a villain. That would be extraordinary, yeah. Star Trek is known for their really juicy, rich, larger-than-life villains. Not if you're Robert Meyer Burnett. He's always saying Star Trek doesn't have villains, it has antagonists. And to watch him chew up the scenery on the starship would be pretty spectacular. But he's got to be on a bridge. It could be an alien bridge, it could be a starship, but yeah. Transport, hang on. Cage and Travolta for Star Trek 4 as they face off. Transporter mishap, yes. Swapping faces in the transporter. Or they use the machine from Turnabout Intruder. Yeah. Is that the one where we learned that there's no female starship captains? How 60s of them. Nicolas Cage also spoke about his potential Star Trek journey at the Saturn Awards. He told Screen Rant that he's had a couple of phone calls about a possible role. We've just read all this, haven't we? But anyway, his potential casting never went further than that. Cage shared how he's have to see a script. Proofreading, a thing of the past. Hashtag. He was happy with... He'd have, that's supposed to be he'd, innit? How he'd have to see a script he was happy with before officially signing on. But like Matalas wanted for him, he'd want to be on the bridge of a starship, ideally, Enterprise. Because it were built in, well, if it were Enterprise, it'd be Lancashire, wouldn't it? Or Manchester. They say the Enterprise, or putting this pie in Thoven. Whereas in Yorkshire, we'd say Enterprise. Ideally, Enterprise. Going to Egypt for my holidays. Anyway, I don't know. I'd have to see a script, Cage said. It would have to be something that I could really add my flavour to. Have some pop and some spark. I wouldn't want to just do anything because I have so much love for the franchise. I want to be on the Enterprise. Ideally, I'd have to be on the Enterprise in some capacity. I don't want to be floating in space on a satellite. I want to be on the bridge, but they have to bring it to me. Star Trek Picard is streaming, blah, 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 blah. Yes, women are too irrational to be captains in that episode. Hey, good old original series that Robert Meyer Burnett says is the be-all and end-all of Star Trek. I love it, but, come on. It's of its time, I suppose. So there we go. So Terry Matalas wants to direct, or he would kill to direct Nicolas Cage in a Star Trek flick. So make it happen, Paramount, but, sell yourself first or whatever. Get all this uncertainty out of the way and then get some Star Trek made. Proper Star Trek. Not Section 31 or Station 31 or Starfleet Academy or any of that crap. Make Star Trek Legacy. Make the Picard film as long as the rest of the Next Generation crew's there as well. And make this one with Nicolas Cage. I want to see Nicolas Cage in a Starfleet uniform. And Kate Blanchett as well. Windgrace, did you do that AI art of Kate Blanchett in the Starfleet uniform? I want to see it. Anyway, right. Let's move on. I've got to admit, I did type it into Google, but it didn't find any good images. I did. It didn't come out amazing, lol. Still want to see it. Just another way to get Paramount to overpay for crap Trek movie. Depends who writes it, I suppose, doesn't it? Depends who writes it. If it's a, bad robot secret hideout production, it'll be rubbish. Even though, I do say I do like Strange New Worlds, but whatever. Whatever. Right, where were we? Next. What's next? Doctor Who next. For some reason, I've put this Doctor Who story in the middle of my Star Trek ones, but I'm not moving it. Never mind. So we're having a quick break from Star Trek and moving on to Doctor Who. This is from Den of Geek. Joe George. Always be, a bit wary of people with two first names. I'm kidding. Doctor Who's new TARDIS is hiding a secret Star Wars reference. Doctor Who senior art director Chrissy Howes may have hidden a robot from another sci-fi franchise someplace under the Doctor's nose. So it must be on, the control thing. Right, Doctor Who has never been shy. Can you read that? Make it bigger. There we go. Doctor Who has never been shy about tipping a hat to other science fiction franchises. The 2014 Christmas special Last Christmas owes a heavy debt to Alien, with its face-hugging alien parasites. I can't remember. Several Star Trek references have beamed onto Doctor Who stories, including the Starfleet-esque crew. Did I say Star Wars or Star Trek? Whatever. Starfleet-esque crew at the start of another Christmas special, A Christmas Carol. The world of comic book superheroes, particularly stories starring Superman, clearly influenced the return of Dr. Mysterio. New Who isn't Doctor Who, it's Doctor Whom. It's a wonder, isn't it, they didn't call, when, what's her face? I forgot her name now already. The last Doctor, who were a girl. What was her name now? Oh, man, but she's from round here, and I've forgotten the name. Anyway, it's a wonder they didn't call it Doctor Womb, innit? Anyway. Unsurprisingly, Doctor Who and its spin-offs have also acknowledged the most popular sci-fi franchise of the past several decades, Star Wars. Nerdy Kid Clyde dropped several Wars mentions in the Sarah Jane Adventures, and the 11th Doctor compared himself to Yoda in the short Meanwhile in the TARDIS. But for the adventures of the 15th Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa, and the Star Wars nods are getting much more subtle. Jodie Whittaker, yes, that's it, thank you, yes, Jodie Whittaker. Dr. Womb. Are getting much more subtle. Speaking with Doctor Who magazine senior art director Chrissy Howes, who worked on the new TARDIS with production designer Phil Simms, reveals her long-standing habit of paying tribute to the Great Space Opera. No, Star Trek is the Great Space Opera, isn't it? On every production I've done since Event Horizon, I've followed the tradition of hiding a bit of R2-D2 in plain sight. Just saying, she revealed. In other words, Howe's hint means that the lovable droid is referenced someplace in the newly reimagined Time Machine. With only one full episode under 15's belt, the Christmas special The Church on Ruby Road, which I saw the first 10 minutes of, viewers haven't had too much of a chance to poke around the Doctor's new digs to look for R2, but your theories are welcome in the comments. We'll have a look in a minute. Could he be referenced someplace on the jukebox, the most prominent addition to the new TARDIS? Is he someplace around the control panel, camouflaged among buttons and lights? We all know that R2 loves plugging into control panels, the dirty little sod. Ruby Sunday. Bloody, Pavlov's dog in it for me. Anyway, as a respected art director, Howes probably takes a much more nuanced approach to integrating R2 into the TARDIS. The floor pattern seems like the most likely place where Howes has hidden this Star Wars reference. Why? The blue box pattern around R2-D2's head would make for some fancy floor tiling, wouldn't it? If you look at the tiling around the control panel at the centre of the TARDIS, it sure does resemble that pattern, but in grey instead of blue. Have a look at the picture at the top of this article and compare with top of R2's dome. No, I wouldn't go. I would say that's not it. There'll be something in there, won't there? There'll be something in there. I bet. Anyway, where were we? That's one theory, anyway. Then we find out that R2 is a new Dalek. Oh dear. That's one theory. Anyway, then again, given that no one has found the R2D2 references in Howe's other projects, which include Avengers Endgame and Casino Royale, it might be the truth. It might be that the truth may be harder to find than a second Doctor serial. Annoying, maybe. But as C-3PO has made clear time and again, R2D2 loves to annoy people. Has he? It's a quality the droid shares with the Doctor. Fortunately, we'll get to see the excellent new TARDIS again very soon and compare notes. Series 14, or Season 1 if you prefer the new numbering, premieres in May on the BBC in the UK and Disney Plus. Everywhere else, Series 15 or Season 2 is currently in production and will reportedly introduce us to a new companion. Yes, it will. Right, comments. Where are they? Is there a... Oh, it's there. Then there's 3. Oh, they're right down at the bottom. In the words of Barry Letts, I hope these are not rude, because I'm not reading ahead, or possibly Terence Dix, to write a good Doctor Who, all you need is an idea. It doesn't need to be your idea. What's that got to do with hiding an R2 unit? Nothing. Spielberg did similar. R2 was 3PO hidden in Close Encounters and Raiders. Well, R2 were hidden in Close Encounters, and both of them were in Raiders, weren't they? But none of them had a clue. None of them told us. Don't know. Need to see a close-up of the TARDIS console and see if it's in there somewhere. Oh, just don't bother. I don't really care, to be honest. Oh, dear. I think that was a typo. It meant to say RTD is annoying everyone. God, you both. You and Windgrace. You're on form tonight. You're on form tonight. Right, so there we go. So there's R2D2 hidden somewhere in the TARDIS. Knock yourself out looking for it. Oh, I've done it again. Pressing the wrong buttons. There we go. Right, back to Star Trek. Cinema Blend wants to show notifications. I don't think so. As you may guess, this next one's from Cinema Blend. Mick Jost. Right, here we go. Star Trek stars and fans, this is a bit bigger, celebrate after Picard and Strange New Worlds win big at Saturn Awards. This is so awesome. Is that just Mick Jost's opinion? Could be. And there's Captain Riker. The Star Trek franchise finally received some awards and accolades after its snub by the Emmys, and it's thanks to the Saturn Awards. It was a big night for the Picard and Strange New Worlds shows. Whatever. As the two shows collectively took home 5 awards. It's a night celebrated by fans and franchise stars alike, as a lot of people reacted on social media and gave even more love to the stars after their wins. Picard captured the Best Science Fiction Series. Patrick Stewart won Best Actor. Jonathan Frakes won Best Supporting Actor, and Jerry Ryan won Best Supporting Actress. So only that, wouldn't that force them to change it to Best Male Actor, Best Female Actor? You'd have thought they'd have done that by now, wouldn't you? It just shows that they don't really care. They're not that bothered about it. Anyway, on the Strange New Worlds side, Paul Wesley won Best Guest Star in a television series. He plays the new Captain Kirk. He's not a Kirk captain. He's Lieutenant Kirk, isn't he, in Strange New Worlds? He's fine, but it's nothing like William Shatner. He's more like the Jim Carrey version of Kirk. He is. Voyager actor and soon-to-be guest star of the upcoming Star Trek series Prodigy Season 2, Robert Picardo, had a big congratulations to share with the stars of Picard and the people who made it possible. Hang on, what we got? Oh, Picard, best thingy, best actor, best supporting actor, Best Supporting Actress. Oh, and Best Guest Star. Right, so that's the 5. Right, Robert Picardo. What a great night for Star Trek. Congrats to Sir Pat Stew, Terry Metalis, our legendary hashtag STTNG colleagues, Jerry L. Ryan, It's Michelle Hurd, Todd Stashwick. I can never remember his name. And all who made season 3 of hashtag Star Trek Picard so memorable. The same sentiment was shared by Prodigy voice actress Bonnie Gordon, who gave some specific props to Picard's co-showrunner, Terry Metalis, and the wonderful speech he gave at the event. And there's that stair lift again. Still want to know how that works. Well, I'm not clicking on it. Right. So proud of the hashtag Star Trek Picard cast and crew and all their well-deserved wins tonight at the Saturn Awards. Shout out to Terry Metalis for the fantastic for the fantastic acceptance speech. They decided to boldly go, and boy did they. Star Trek Saturn Awards star, blah blah blah. Congrats to Terry Metalis, whose recent thoughts about Star Trek Picard's ending had been more optimistic for a spin-off. Ex-user, one impossible thing at a time, sounded the rallying cry for the spin-off. Oh, excuse me. Codenamed Star Trek Legacy once again, and even tagged one of the franchise's biggest decision makers, Alex Kurtzman. Ooh, look! Hashtag Star Trek Legacy is trending again. Star Trek Legacy when @Alex_Kurtzman when ? Hashtag Star Trek Picard. Hashtag Captain 7. Hashtag Titan A, not Enterprise G. They like and hash in this hashtag in this article. Yes, they do. Anyway, as someone who said very early on that Jonathan Frakes deserved awards recognition for his acting in Star Trek Picard Season 3, yes, he was really good in it. I was glad to see him win, although I didn't like him when he berated Picard in that episode when he said, it came at the end, didn't he, when he said, "You've killed us all," or whatever, and "get off my bridge" and all that. Didn't like that. It was very un-Star Trek and un-Riker-ish. Anyway. And then at the beginning of the next episode, he went, "Sorry, I didn't mean it." They just wanted a dramatic ending, didn't they? I think that's what happened. Anyway. Hashtag Icheb, whatever, is alive. Yes, might as well, because it wasn't him, was it? It was somebody else. It wasn't Manu Itriyamu or whatever the bloody name is. Might as well add links to the Twitter shit. I mean, X. Yeah, well, there are links out there. There's them. I forgot what I want now. As someone who said very early on that Jonathan Frakes deserved awards recognition for his acting in Star Trek Picard Season 3, I was glad to see him win a Saturn Award. I wasn't the only one to say that. Not me, whoever wrote this article. Mick Just. Scott Mantz also showered the actor with praise following his big win. Red alert, says Scott Mantz. Ever since Star Trek Picard dropped on Paramount Plus a year ago, I've been saying that Jonathan Frakes gave the performance of his career, apart from when he shouted at Picard. The 51st Saturn Awards agreed, honouring him with Best Supporting Actor in a TV series. Big congrats, number 1. Don't like the badges, though. Don't like them. Elon should call it Twitter X. I'm surprised he didn't. Is anyone else getting the urge to re-watch Season 3 of Star Trek Picard with their Paramount Plus subscription? I've felt that way since Jerry Ryan's heartwarming speech at the Astra Awards. Okay, I didn't see it. So now might be the time to pull the trigger. The same can be said about, don't say that around Alec Baldwin. So, ooh. The same can be said about Strange New Worlds, so I can be reminded of Paul Wesley's well-deserved win for his guest role as James T. Kirk. What Factor Trek? Congrats to him. That says, look at him. There's no shoulders, has he? William Shatner's, he could crush him with one hand, couldn't he? Anyway. Congratulations to all Star Trek winners and those who helped lead to such a fantastic night at the Saturn Awards for the franchise. Here's hoping Paramount Plus is equally as impressed with the showing at the award show. Were Alex Kurtzman even there, I wonder? I don't know. I bet he won't. Award show, and it might lead to more future projects being greenlit should they be pitched. We can continue to cross our fingers and look forward to the current projects in development and on the way in the process. Rewatch season 3 of Picard. Yeah, why not? It's good. It's good. It's season 3 of Picard. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's better than the first 2 seasons, better than Discovery. So, but it's, I would argue that Strange New Worlds is better than season 3 of Picard, but I think I'd be in the minority. As mentioned, fans can watch all the Star Trek they want on Paramount Plus, except Prodigy, with the franchise in a current lull with new projects until later in 2024. Now would be as good of a time as any to revisit some of the best award-winning shows and performances the platform has to offer. I'm in the middle of watching Enterprise. I'm on season 3. I've just watched the episode Harbinger. That was last night's episode. Hey, love me a bit of Enterprise. Yes, except Prodigy and half the movies. And not all the movies on there either as well. I don't know. I watch it through Amazon, so I think all the movies are on there anyway. So. But I don't know if they're through Amazon or Paramount Plus. I don't know. So there we go. So anyway, Picard season 3 and Star Trek Season New Worlds won some awards. Huzzah! Now get Legacy made. Never mind your bloody Starfleet Academy and Section 31. Nobody wants them. I mean, the best thing you can say about them is they're keeping people in work, but nobody wants to see them. They licensed the movies out to another streaming place, the Kelvin ones, I think. Oh, well, nobody cares about them anyway. Well, some people do, because we saw an article, didn't we, last time? The author of the article said that the best sci-fi of the 2010s were the Star Trek films, the JJ ones. Unbelievable. Right. What's next? Star Trek again. Oh, yes. I've not read this one, so I don't know. But I think this one's... Yes, it has. This one's like a comic connection. I don't usually do Star Trek things with the comics, because, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of the Star Trek comics. The ones I've read. But anyway. Keeping people in work while Paramount Plus are going bankrupt. Yeah, but at least the little people are in work, aren't they? Little people. The blue collar workers, the set designers, and not the other people. The sweeper uppers. At least they've got jobs. Right. Star Trek explains why Harry Kim was never promoted. He's a secret agent. Dun, dun, dun. This is from Screen Rant. Ambrose Tardive. That's a Star Wars name, isn't it? Not a Star Trek name. That's a Star Wars name. Right. IDW's Star Trek recently reintroduced. Win Grace will know all about this. Recently reintroduced Harry Kim as a member of Starfleet Intelligence, perfectly explaining why he's been stuck at the rank of ensign, and Windgrace disagrees, I think. Right. Star Trek has provided... I haven't made this big. Ooh, steady. Star Trek has provided the best possible explanation for why Voyager's Harry Kim has never risen above the rank of ensign. It is a cover for his true role as an undercover operative for Starfleet Intelligence, working under the badass codename King Snake. In one of the most apropos additions to Trek lore IDW's ongoing comic book series has made yet. Sci-Fi Quest says Harry Kim is a time agent from the 29th century. You never know. You never bloody know. They didn't need an explanation. Anyway, I shall continue while all Windgrace is getting all in a fluster. Star Trek number 13, written by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, with art by Marcus Toe, colour by Lee Luffridge, and lettering by Clayton Cowles. Is it weird how they still have people doing letters, in comics, rather than just having it typed out, doing it on add it on a computer. They still have people writing it in manually. Anyway, maybe it's just tradition, I don't know. Continues to build towards the next major threat to the galaxy in the wake of the massive God War Day of Blood crossover event. I have no idea what they're talking about. Is that supposed to be Harry Kim? Nothing like him. I look more like Harry Kim than him. But there's an Andorian with them. The Zenkethi, a militant alien society, are mobilising a war fleet, and the crew of the USS Theseus are tasked with an intelligence-gathering mission. Also, it's one of those, is it, the Theseus? I think I read the first issue of that, thought it was crap. And I said, I think I did a quick review of it, and I said, none of the characters look like who they should do. Case in point, they still don't look like who they should do. Lettering is a huge part of the job. So I'm getting Windgrace angry with my lack of knowledge of comic books. He's seething. It wasn't promoted because they didn't have enough pips on board. Had all the pips been allocated, and they couldn't replicate, because obviously you can't replicate Starfleet pips, rank pips, which is why promotions are so hard to come by, unless you're Tom Paris. But then again, he got promoted, then demoted, and then promoted again. So he probably just kept the pip spare in his drawer, didn't he? Right, the Zenkethi, a militant alien society who we first learned about in Deep Space Nine. I think it was season 3, the finale of season 3. But we never saw them, but we heard about them. They weren't getting the pips delivered until Tuesday. Yes, pips. Or pups even. Might have been pups. The Zenkethi, again, a militant alien society, are mobilising a war fleet, and the crew of the USS Theseus are tasked with an intelligence-gathering mission. This puts them in contact with a Starfleet operative behind Zenkethi lines, King Snake, who they are shocked to learn is Harry Kim. There was some writing, handwritten. Every day I was put in danger, every away mission, every experiment, and if there was someone who was going to get infected or seduced by an assassin, that was me too. Have we covered this article before? This seems very familiar. People think being... Oh, right, with the Lower Decks one, wasn't it? Yes, we did the Lower Decks article, didn't we? A couple of weeks ago. People think being Lower Decks is a breeze. Now we're arguing. Harry Kim were never Lower Decks. He was an ensign, but he was never a Lower Decks ensign, was he? He was the bloody chief of operations. Or head of operations. Anyway, cleaning the replicators and palling around with your academy friends between shifts. He never knew that. He came straight out of the academy onto the bridge. He's never noticed. He don't know what he's talking about. I'm getting angry myself now. I even read the bloody thing. But it's not. It's terrifying, even when you're in control, even when you're lucky enough to be at the front, which he was. You're the first one they sacrifice. Not really. You're the one they're expecting to leave behind. Stop moaning. Star Trek number 13's revelation that Harry Kim is King Snake, a secret agent operating in highly dangerous territory for Starfleet, finally puts to rest the nagging question of why Kim was never officially promoted after Voyager's return from the Delta Quadrant, as was the majority of the crew. But this is in comics, so it's not canon. Is it, Windgrace? Sci-Fi Quest says, wasn't there also a thing that they couldn't replicate the uniform because of the material they are made of until Disco? How did they replace... Yeah, shouldn't replicating the uniform in Discovery when replicators hadn't even been invented. Anyway, how did they replace them when they got ruined in Voyager? No, they could replicate them because I'm sure I've seen it mentioned before. They can replicate uniforms. I'm sure I've seen it. But anyway... But don't ask me to, remember where I've seen it, but I'm sure I've seen it where they've replicated the uniform. Not in Discovery, I mean in like TNG or Voyager or Deep Space Nine or one of them. I'm sure I've seen it in somewhere. But I could be wrong. Right, as Harry noted to Theseus crew member Ensign Sato, the Andorian descendant of Enterprise character Hoshi Sato. Okay, many... How does that work? How does that work? Many people harbour an inaccurate understanding. I know you could say, she married... Maybe the Andorians take the female family name. Maybe she married an Andorian at some point. And maybe the Andorians take the female... Like the Betazoids do. Anyway. None of the comics are canon except the couple they claimed were. They never are. Even in Star Wars, you remember that big thing from Force Awakens, the books that were going to come out after they made all the other ones, all the old ones legends, said they weren't canon anymore. Apart from these new ones that were coming out, they were saying they were canon, but then they kept changing it by the time the films came out, didn't they? And so making them not canon anymore. They don't know what they're doing. These franchises, they've no idea. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. Thank God I got that the right way around. Hoshi Sato. Right. Many people harbour an inaccurate understanding of what it means to be a lower-ranking member of a Starfleet crew. He was never a lower-ranking member. Yes, he was an ensign, but he was head of operations on Voyager. It's like saying Miles O'Brien's a lower-ranking member of the crew on Deep Space Nine. He's not. He's chief of operations. He may have a lower rank, technically, but he's still up there. He's part of the, whatever they call it, top, first crew. That's what they call it now. A shift or whatever you want to call it. Anyway. No one cares about canon anyway, except the fans, that is. Yes. Yeah, the Countdown prequel to 2009 was canon, yeah, until Picard showed they were. Yes. By the way, that is on my channel. I did a motion comic version of it. It's on me. If you search for it, go to my channel, YouTube channel, and search for it. Countdown, Star Trek Countdown. It's in there, music and everything. Oh dear, bless. Right, where were we? Lower-ranking member of Starfleet crew. It's not all cleaning the replicators and palling around, rather one of the organisation's most dangerous roles, describing his time as a lower-ranking member, except he wasn't, of the Voyager crew Harry ventured. I've just read all this, haven't I? Moan, whinge, moan, whinge, moan, and it were all a lie, because he was never a lower-decks person, was he? Although his role as an undercover intelligence agent likely puts him in even more danger rather than less, yes, he's moaning for nothing. Obviously, the writer must have wanted to get something off their chest. It comes with a great deal more inherent respect. Start at number 13's revelation. That Harry Kim is King Snake, a secret agent operating in highly dangerous territory for Starfleet, finally puts to rest the nagging question of why Kim was never officially promoted after Voyager's return from the Delta Quadrant, as was the majority of the crew. Sci-Fi quest. Because he was primary bridge crew, he was head of the department. Bridge officers have a higher command level than the rank they have. Essentially, yes, we saw that in Enterprise, actually. One of the episodes I've just been watching. Harbinger, Season 3. We see that Lieutenant Malcolm Reed is head of security on the Enterprise. So even though he's a lower rank than the head of the Makos, Major... I forgot his name. Major Hayes. I think it's Hayes, isn't it? Yeah. Major Hayes. Obviously, a lieutenant's a lower rank than a major. Major Hayes still calls him Sir. So there we go. Anyway. Therefore, Harry Kim, may have been an ensign, but he was a high-ranking ensign. We saw the lower decks on Voyager in the episode Good Shepherd. Yes, we did. They were like Maquis crew, weren't they? Or some of them were, and maybe one or two of them were just not very good Starfleet officers. I can't remember exactly. They were a Bolian, weren't they? So in the game, did the Bolian in that episode? He turned up in the game, didn't he? In Elite Force. I forgot his name. Him anyway. Yes, good episode that. Good episode that. We don't know he wasn't promoted. He has been in 0 Star Trek shows since Voyager ended. Exactly. Although apparently he's going to be in Prodigy, isn't he? I'm sure he is. Delta Shift, yes. Chell, that's the fella. You're thinking of a different episode. Oh, right, well, whatever. But yes. I thought Chell was one of those in The Good Shepherd. Obviously, I'm wrong. Right, never mind. Throughout Voyager's 7 seasons, Harry proved himself worthy of advancement in the ranks time and again, an honour the series has frequently been called out for not bestowing upon him. Similarly, post-Star Trek Voyager stories have underutilised the character, with IDW's current comic finally giving Harry his due. I do remember, though, in one episode of TNG, when Data's talking about how he rose through the Starfleet ranks, and he says what would be expected. I think what would be expected of his crew his rank advancement, and he said something like 12 years as an ensign, so many years as a lieutenant, and whatever, and until he got his present rank. So maybe he's just expected to be an ensign for longer than the other ranks. Don't know. Right, is that supposed to be Tom Paris and Harry Kim? Once more, IDW Star Trek has brought fresh energy to the franchise, taking another beloved character in an exciting new direction. Harry Kim understands that... How's this article? Oh, I'm nearly done. Harry Kim understands the perils of Starfleet, especially the lower ranks, more acutely than most. In Star Trek number 13, he and longtime friend Tom Paris share a moment of reflection. We survived hell. I survived, Harry says, though technically this is not true. Ah, yes. As Trek fans will recall, the Voyager Season 2 episode Deadlock featured a shocking moment in which Harry was sucked out into space, blown out into space, through a hull breach, dying horrifically in front of Captain Janeway. Though the episode concluded with a duplicate of Harry taking his place, the original did, in fact, die in the Delta Quadrant. So it just shows that the writers of these comics, win grace, don't know what they're talking about. Good Shepherd is where Janeway takes a few people on a shuttle. The Chell episode. Oh, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, the Chell episode is Learning Curve. Yes, that's the one. Yes. Learning Curve, where Tuvok is whipping the Ex-Maquis into shape. Yes, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yes. See, he is, the Oracle. His win grace. I'd have thought Harry would have been promoted when Voyager got home. Maybe skip junior lieutenant to be full lieutenant, or should I say lieutenant? You'd think so, wouldn't you? He should be a bloody admiral. It was Belan and not Janeway. That was Janeway, wasn't it? I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, where were we? Though the true extent of the existential horror of Harry Kim's death has not yet been fully explored in Trek canon, hidden, making noises. In any case, it has elevated the character to a long overdue position of prominence, which he has long been denied. Further, it readily explains the character's lack of promotion by Starfleet, which has seemed incongruous with his rather courageous actions for some time. Once more, IDW Star Trek has brought fresh energy to the franchise, taking another beloved character in an exciting new direction. Star Trek number 13 is available now from IDW Publishing. I'm not a fan, to be honest. I read the first one, with the Theseus and all that, and I didn't like it. So I didn't get any more. Because I'm mangy. Sci-Fi Quest, the Voyager crew would be some of the most experienced officers in all of Starfleet. Pretty much, like I say, 7 years just on the ship. Getting home. Right. Anyway, so there we go. Still don't say why we're never promoted, though, does it? I mean, what difference does it make? What rank? If there's an intelligence agent, He could still got promoted. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. As Windgrace said, where does he say? It's up here somewhere. Yes, they didn't need an explanation. Yes, it didn't. It didn't need an explanation. Right. What's next? Ooh, this is a blast from the past. I haven't seen this film for a while. Anyway, here we go. From giant freaking robot Douglas Helm, 1970s sci-fi thriller from film legend Rescued and Restored. Does it ring any bells to anybody? Saul Bass is a cinematic legend, making some of the most recognisable film title sequences and movie posters in his long career. However, Bass only directed one feature-length film, the 1974 underrated sci-fi film Phase 4, which I used to have on VHS. I wonder if I've still got it somewhere. Anyway, I think my mum got me it for Christmas or something one year. I'm sure we've got it somewhere. Anyway, now you can pick up this film in glorious 4K UHD Blu-ray thanks to film restoration and distribution company Vinegar Syndrome. And that's obviously a thing from it. Excuse me. Phase 4 is a legendary cult classic and it's about ants, if you might have guessed. Phase 4 takes place after a mysterious cosmic event causes ants to rapidly evolve and develop an advanced intelligence along with the hive mind. Scientists James R. Lesko and Ernest D. Hubbs set up a lab in Arizona to study the ants, only to learn these aggressive insects may threaten humanity at large. The film stars Michael Murphy, Nigel Davenport and Lynn Frederick. You would expect Saul Bass to have had a more prolific directing career than rather than just having one film under his belt, but Phase 4 was a complete financial flop upon its release. The film gradually gained a cult following over the years due to its association with Bass and the fact that it was also shown on Mystery Science Theatre 3000. In any case, the film is highly underrated, and the fact that it wasn't a commercial success shouldn't deter you from checking it out. It's a decent film. Sequel to The Ants from Ant-Man 3. Yes, Phase 4. Ant-Man Phase 4. Like Star Trek Phase 2. The only film directed by Saul Bass. Who directed... I know Michael Anderson wanted it. Because who directed Logan's Run, but it was Michael Anderson. But Saul Bass had something to do with that, though, as well. Maybe he produced it, I don't know. Maybe it'll talk about it here. If you're unfamiliar with Saul Bass, you have him to thank for some of the most iconic film title sequences and film posters of all time. Didn't he do the first James Bond film, Dr. No? I'm sure he did the title sequence in that. Phase 4 was his only feature-length directing work, but Bass was primarily a graphic designer. Is it Bass or Bass? Whatever. A graphic designer who worked with Alfred Hitchcock. Actually did Psycho, I think, didn't it? And did he do North by Northwest as well? I could be wrong. Stanley Kubrick, Martin Scorsese, Billy Wilder, and many more prestigious filmmakers. Some works you may recognise from him are the title sequences from The Man with the Golden Arm, never heard of that one, Vertigo, Psycho, and Casino. He designed movie posters too. You may also recognise Bass's poster work on films like The Shining, Anatomy of a Murder, Spartacus, Vertigo, Schindler's List, and many more. To say his graphic design work was influential would certainly be a vast understatement. Bass brings his eye for visual design to Phase 4, which now has a definitive way to watch it, thanks to this Vinegar Syndrome restoration. I'm guessing this article was paid for by his Vinegar Syndrome. Bass or Bass? I think it's Bass. Yeah, it's like that town in on the French Riviera. Is it it's Nice, or is it Nice? Or is it nice or nice? But when you write it, you know what I mean. What he's just said. I still prefer them. To be honest, so do I. Which is supposed to be getting a remake, isn't it? Phase 4 is an underrated. It's a good movie. Yes, it is a good film. It is a good film. It's definitely Bass, isn't it? Oh dear. Right, new version. Right, those who pick up the Vinegar Syndrome special limited edition of Phase 4 will get a 3-disc 4K UHD Blu-ray set contained in a gloss hard slipcase and slipcover combo designed by Adam Mader. Okay. The limited edition also includes a 40-page bound book. The new set also includes exclusive extended and alternate sequences that haven't been seen since 1974. With some other special features you'll get in the limited edition of Phase 4 are a commentary track with film historian Matthew Asprey Gear. Is that a real name? A making of documentary by Elijah Drenner, and a featurette with composer Brian Gascoigne and the electronic music artist David Vorhaus. For big fans of Bass's graphic design work, there are also 16 minutes of raw footage from Bass's original ending montage sequence. In other words, this is the definitive edition of this unique part of sci-fi cinema history. So make sure you grab your copy if you're a fan. Source Vinegar Syndrome. So yes, they paid for the article, didn't they? But it's a good film, so give it a whirl. Give it a whirl. I'm sure it's on some streaming thing somewhere. It will be, won't it? Anyway, however you pronounce his name, Saul Boss, or Boss. Somebody in America will pronounce it Boss, won't they? Like Han, Hon, whatever, I don't know. I'm taking the mickey. Right. What's next? I think we're nearly done now. Not quite. 2 to go. Now, Avatar. Let me make that bigger. Hang on. It's like Saturn 3 is the same, underrated. Yeah. Saturn 3 is okay. I'd put it on the I'd put it on the same level as Phase 4. Not the best films ever, but a decent watch. Yay, Avatars. Oh, Windgrace, not an Avatar fan. Avatar 6 and 7 teased why James Cameron has no plans to end the series soon. There he is, looking quite stern. Mike Bedard, by the way, Looper, what you were reading this from. James Cameron was a big winner at this year's Saturn Awards, with Avatar The Way of Water taking home 4 trophies, including one for Best Science Fiction Film. I liked it, it was fine. I've got it on 4K, still haven't watched it. While at the event, Cameron also teased the future of the franchise. Everyone's anticipating Avatar 3 next up on the docket, but the auteur already has his sights as an Avatar 6 and Avatar 7. Unbelievable. Have they even started filming the 3rd movie yet? God knows. Cameron spoke with People, presumably the is it a magazine or a newspaper? It's a magazine, isn't it, People? About the franchise, or is it just people? We're just talking to people in the street about the franchise, and admitted that while progress has been good, he can't steer it forever. We're fully written through movie 5, and I've got ideas for 6 and 7. Hope we wasn't writing these, during the writer's strike. Although I'll probably be handing the baton on at that point, the filmmaker explained. I mean, mortality catches up, but I mean we're enjoying what we're doing. We're loving it. We get to work with great people. But they won't all be $2 billion films, will they? You wouldn't think so anyway, but you never know, do you? Nobody expected, the Avatar 2 to be, as massive as it was. It's James Cameron, he always surprises. It's far too early to speculate what Avatar 6 and beyond could be about, because we don't even know what the 3rd one's going to be about, really, do we? Some fans have theorised the film series draws from Chinese philosophy, with Avatar 3 somehow centering around fire. Cameron previously teased how Avatar 3 will focus on a Na'vi tribe connected to fire, known as the Ash People. They'll be more malevolent than what we've seen of them so far. Pandora is a big planet, and with Cameron's plans, the movies might just explore every facet of it. Avatar has spawned a total franchise, cementing its cultural legacy. But not really, is it? I know people like the films, and the 2 are the biggest films ever, and But you know, it's not like a massive franchise, is it? When all's said and done. Coffee time, be right, man. Fine. Do me one as well. No sugar, just milk. In addition to 2 feature-length films, both of which have grossed over $2 billion each, the series also has various video games. I think it's each, isn't it? Including the 2023's Avatar: The Frontiers of Pandora, which my son's playing at the moment. It actually looks really nice. There are also Avatar comic books to help fill in some gaps from the movies. Bet Windgrace has got them all. Avatar is branching out in big ways, so it's no wonder James Cameron wants to stay in this world and flesh it out to rival other big sci-fi franchises. In his interview with People, Cameron spoke about having a precedent for the potential longevity of the Avatar franchise. Star Trek, Star Wars, the world-building franchises that have been around since I was a kid, those were my inspirations, he said. And while the first Avatar came out in 2009, it's still just getting started. We're still a young universe, he pointed out. Nah, don't care any. Not an Avatar fan is Windgrace, by the sounds of it. We're only 2 movies in. We're halfway through our 3rd right now. Does that mean halfway through filming? Halfway through writing? Don't know. To have that kind of cultural impact over time, you got to pour all your heart and energy into it. As far as Cameron's involvement in Avatar movies, he's floated the idea of passing directorial duties to someone else before. Whoever takes the reins of the franchise will have some mighty big shoes to fill. But they're big, aren't they, these Na'vi? But Cameron shows no signs of slowing down now. Even if someone else takes over for Avatar 6, he still has 3 more movies to wrap up before then. Plus, as the director has shown before, he doesn't mind taking his time to ensure an Avatar movie is done right. It's fair enough, as I like the Avatar films. I like the first one most, but, Avatar The Way of Water was fine. It was fine. I enjoyed it. It looks pretty enough, but it's very baseline and messed on. I say it's not exactly original, is it? That's James Cameron, though, isn't it? He just, he steals things, or homages things, and that's his way of water. But he does it well, Like I say, it might not be original, but he does them well. And I do like the first Avatar. I like Avatar 2 as well, but the first one I think is, I think it's amazing, to be honest. So there. Right. And finally, but like 6 and 7, we haven't even got the 3rd one out yet, for God's sake. Anyway, finally. Oh, more awards. We're talking about the Hugo Awards now, from Giant Freaking Robot, Jeffrey Rappaport. Sci-Fi Awards controversy, whatever, leads to resignations and censures. There we go. Controversy, surrounds the 2023 Hugo Awards, shaking the world of science fiction and fantasy, resulting in significant upheaval in the Worldcon intellectual property, WIP, the non-profit organisation responsible for the prestigious awards service, marks. The development stems from accusations of censorship in the awards voting process. The allegations assert that several authors whose works were ruled not eligible for awards, hosted in Chengdu, China, were deemed as such because their books could potentially offend the Chinese Communist Party. Here we go. They're going to bend the knee to the CCP. In the fallout of the ongoing controversy, I'm going to pronounce it like that from now on, 2 key leaders have resigned, while several others involved in the awards administration have been censored. Dave McCarthy, WIP director, and Kevin Stanley, its board chair, both stepped away from their positions following accusations of censorship in the Hugo Awards voting process. the protestations eventuating, is that a word? Their departures stemmed from the questionable circumstances surrounding the ineligibility of certain books. Among those excluded was Babel by R.F. Kuang, a novel borrowing heavily from Chinese culture and history. Additionally, Chinese-Canadian author, I'm going to bloody butcher this, Jiran J. Zhao, apologies, that could be Chiran, couldn't it? But anyway, and writer Paul Weimer were prevented from nomination for the award. There's the Chinese flag. Back, sorry I had to fight off Ghostface, all because I said be right back. Yes, I'll be right back. Hey, I haven't seen Scream for years. Their exclusions raised suspicion of state censorship or even self-censorship in light of the awards location in Chinese Communist Party-dominated China, as well as the recent geopolitical strife regarding Taiwan. The hotbed of controversy due to the 2023 Chinese Hugo Awards has resulted in an enormous staff shake-up at Worldcon. Employees Ben Shi and Ben Yalo, it's all the Bens, faced censure due to their first names being identical, due to their involvement in the Chengdu Worldcon's Hugo Administration Committee. Industry insiders furthermore noticed Yalo's glaring absence from the 2024 Glasgow Worldcon Committee and staff listings after the incident. So they get around, don't they? China, Glasgow, where next? For his part, they keep showing this flag, don't they? For his part, McCarthy, who presided over the Hugo Administration Committee for the Chengdu Worldcon, endured censure for, in the words of Worldcon, public comments that have led to harm of the goodwill and value of our marks and for actions. Does that come from the Chinese Communist Party? Probably. Whereas Stanley took heat for speaking publicly in a way that, from Worldcon's perspective, misleadingly implied impropriety in safeguarding the Hugo trademarks. A book. Probably to preserve PR following the Hugo Awards debacle, WHIP has publicly voiced its dedication and commitment to taking all complaints and allegations about the 2023 Hugo process seriously. WHIP underscored the enormous import of the iconic award in the global sci-fi fantasy community. Awarded annually at the Worldcon event, whose host country varies year to year, the Hugos are perhaps the most esteemed honours in the genre. The award celebrates the year's finest sci-fi and fantasy works. If you love a book in either of those genres, such as the Dune series, a film adaptation of which is streaming on Netflix now, and the second part of it is out soon, chances are it won a Hugo Award and some Stormtroopers. In addition to personal consequences for those mentioned above, the controversy sparked a worldwide discussion within the sci-fi and fantasy community about the transparency, eligibility criteria, and influence of external pressures on artistic freedom. Obviously and notably, the genres in question, especially sci-fi, often involve politics, whether in Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury or 1984, George Orwell. And me. Thus, censorship in the name of adhering to political orthodoxy strikes many as problematic. And that's from Dune, isn't it? Understandably, the organisers of the Glasgow Worldcon are already endeavouring to distance themselves from the Chengdu Committee's decisions. They have assured total transparency in the 2024 Hugo Awards voting process, including the publication of reasons for disqualifications or withdrawals. Bobbles. Also, WHIP chose Don Eastlake as the new WHIP board chair, marking a new chapter for the organisation, which seeks to restore trust and integrity to the Hugo Awards. And just as I'm about to end, Teased arrives. Oh dear. They should join my quest for great sci-fi. Yes, they should. Hopefully, sci-fi and fantasy authors, as well as their fans, I don't think Mercury Rapids will ever get a Hugo Award, consider this a positive development. There we go. There we go. I don't know why I picked that. Maybe just for the drama of Resignations and Censures. But, you know, who cares? Who cares? Jim Carrey out of retirement returns to most unlikely role. I think he's being in Sonic, in the next Sonic film, I think, isn't he? Right, but whatever. Right, that's it. Done. We'll leave it there. We will leave it there. What time is it? Hang on. Bear with me. I'm just sorting stuff out. There we go. Right. We're all done. What's coming up next? What are we on Wednesday? Friday is appointment with Fear Night. So, we're having another double bill. We had a double bill on Monday, with the magnificent Mondays. We had a Judge Dredd double bill. Sent on for 3.5 hours, for God's sake, I was knackered. And we're having another double bill this Friday, an appointment with Fear. We're doing Quarantine and Wreck. Got it wrong way around. There we go. There you go. Quarantine and Wreck. The Wreck is the Spanish found footage film. And it's great. It's a great film. And Quarantine is it's American remake, which is very good. So basically, we're watching the same film twice, just with different actors in. There is other slight differences in the films, but they're essentially the same film. 22:25, is it? 22:55. Yes, sorry. 55. Yes, it is. 5 to 11 at night. The forecast snow in the morning up here. I hope it happens. Anyway, so that's what's happening on Friday. And next, it's under there somewhere. Next week's Magnificent Monday, we're doing The Last Starfighter, which is cool. Right, so we'll leave it there. As I said earlier, go and subscribe to Windgrace, Windgrace's channel. Search Windgrace Project. If I just type Windgrace, it never finds it for some reason. To type in Windgrace Project. And also subscribe to Sci-Fi Quest. I'll be sure to wreck Friday. Yes. Subscribe to Sci-Fi Quest. He's got some great stuff on his channel as well, but no bloody games playing recently. Anyway, so there we go. Oh, by the way, I'll be carrying on. I've been playing my RoboCop Rogue City. I'm plodding my way through it, as RoboCop does. I'm not really enjoying it, to be honest, but, we'll get there. It's not the best game ever. As I said during the game, it looks like a 10-year-old game. To me, it does anyway. But I'm doing that. But I've bought a game on my PC. So I might play that. At some point. Can I show you it? I don't know where it's put it. Never mind. I bought it through Steam. They had a special offer. But everybody's saying goodbye to me, and I haven't finished talking. I bought Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis on Steam, so I might play that through my computer, through in a live stream at some point if I get round to it. Right. So we're done. Sci-Fi has been playing Farming Simulator. I've always wondered about them. I've never tried them. Farming Simulator games, and I once tried playing. I can't remember which one it was. It was like one of them Civilization games, but it wasn't Civilization. It was another one, a similar one. And I'm playing that merrily, built up a city and stuff like that, and then suddenly it got destroyed. And I thought, what the bloody hell do I do now? I hate them sort of games. But anyway. Right, so we'll leave it there. So thanks Sci-Fi Quest, thanks Windgrace, thanks Josh Temple. Hope you feel better soon. Thanks DJ for coming in right at the end. Has there been anybody else? No, I don't think so. Right, so thanks for keeping me company while I read the news in my droning monotone. So we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching. Wherever you are, look after each other. And until next time, I'll say thee.